encounter that's on in Rajouri in Jammu and Kashmir, but there's tragic news coming in. There's been confirmation of the loss of life of 4 army personnel and 2 young officers. This at a time when the encounter is still presently on. 2 army officers, 2 jawans were killed in action after a fierce encounter broke out in the Kalakot forest area in Rajouri. So remember, these are very dense terrain in forest areas where our armed forces personnel have to go through. The encounter started after Army Special Forces and police launched joint operation following intelligence input about the presence of terrorists in the area. Intense gun battle is still underway. Additional troops have been deployed to eliminate at least 2 terrorists who have, according to our information, been cornered in the area. Officials stated that the trapped terrorists have been moving around the area since the past 3 to 4 days. Sunil Ji Bhatt joins me from the Jammu region where this encounter is presently on in Rajouri, and this is a forest belt. It's not an easy terrain at all to be operating in right now, and that also signifies the kind of effort armed forces have to put in. Sunil, can we give out the names and the details about these 2 young officers, 2 jawans? And this is a reminder in many ways of what happened in Anantnag in Kashmir, where there was loss of life of our soldiers, both from the Indian Army and the Jammu and Kashmir police. What is this encounter? Why is it taking so long? Give us the details.
Well, Pooja, you have been to this area and you are well aware of the terrain as far as these twin border districts of Rajouri and Poonch are concerned. And there was a specific input that security forces had, and acting on that specific input, a massive search and cordon operation was launched by the security forces on Sunday. So this anti-terror operation was on since Sunday. The security forces managed to establish a contact with the terrorists yesterday morning, and after that a fierce encounter broke out. And I will just show you the exact spot where that encounter is still on. My camera person Neeraj is showing you the pictures there on that hilltop. I will just ask him to show you the pictures there on that hilltop. The encounter is still on. There are teams of the special forces of the Indian Army as well as of the Special Operations Group of Jammu and Kashmir Police. They are deployed there. They are engaging terrorists there. And on the outer cordon here, you can see that there are CRPF jawans. They have laid an outer cordon here. So this is a joint operation that has been carried out by the Indian Army, Jammu and Kashmir Police, as well as by the CRPF jawans, and the priority is to neutralize the terrorists who are hiding in the forest belt as soon as possible. But as you said that we have suffered 4 casualties. 4 of our brave hearts have attained Veer Gati in this anti-terror operation, and among these 4 army personnel, 2 are captain rank officers, while 1 is a JCO and another is a soldier. There are 2 army personnel who are in injured condition. They are receiving treatment at the hospital which is located at the headquarters of the Indian Army's Northern Command. So the security forces are trying their level best to neutralize the terrorists as soon as possible, but given the terrain of this area, it's going to take time. As you can see that this entire stretch is surrounded by thick forest belt, so it's very difficult for security
Sunil,
forces
tell me
to
this,
carry.
because for the benefit of our viewers and as our guidelines, I want to ensure that the visuals that you see on your screen of the deployment of the armed forces are all deferred visuals. These are not live visuals on your screen. And Sunil, do tell us about Rajouri now. It's important to mention, for those who may not understand, that for the longest time in the Kashmir Valley, if you can hear me, Sunil, in the Kashmir Valley, for the longest time, the jihadists had been able to run their violent attempt, and we saw the killings and the worst that has happened in Kashmir. But as Kashmir becomes peaceful for now, development is taking place. The focus and the strategy of the terrorists is changing to Rajouri, which had been able to keep peace in that region for the longest time. But increasingly, we have seen attempts, whether there are of terrorists hiding, they are launching attacks. Rajouri also borders Pakistan from a different border, and that reflects this change strategy. How is that panning out? Is the focus of the armed forces and security agencies now turning to Jammu region, Rajouri belt specifically? All right, Sunil, we'll try and go across to you in just a short while. We'll get that audio line back on. Remember, it's a difficult terrain where network is an issue. All deferred visuals on your screen right now. But what a terrible loss of life. After the casualties that were confirmed from the encounter in Kashmir, now months later, we have more brave personnel. Because remember, had it not been for these men taking on these jihadists, India would be a very different country. And that's why, while we of course, our prayers with the families, and I want to also say that we are running the identities of these personnel and these officers once the family members have been informed as well. They've been killed in action. But it takes extreme courage to be in the position that these armed forces personnel have been. The encounter is on. We'll continue to bring you details.